Hey guys, Chris from Adapt Tuition here, and this is video number 3 in my error correction series. If you want to see the other videos in this series, I'm going to put a card up there and a link in the description below. In this video, I'm going to cover how to correct two types of errors: compensating errors and complete reversal of entries. Guys, don't forget, in the description you're going to find timestamps that you can use to jump around to different parts of the video if you know specifically what you're looking for, or you've watched pieces of the video already and you don't want to watch over the whole thing. As you go through this video, be sure to have a pen and piece of paper or a notebook ready to jot down some notes and to try the questions. If you have questions of your own, please be sure to leave them in the comment section below and I'll be happy to get back to you. Guys, don't forget, I have a website, and on that website you can download handouts on certain POA topics for free. Of course, one of those topics is error correction. Right? See a link in the description that will carry you to that website and to the download section. And I'm sure many of you all did know this, I have a Facebook page. I've had one since about 2012. And on that page, I have solutions to paper 2s for POA, maths, and art maths from about 2019, 2020, go back to about 2010. So if you have exams coming up and you want to check out some past paper solutions for free, follow that link in the description and those are yours to use. Okay guys, so it's about that time. Let's start today's work. Okay guys, so before we get into today's work, just a reminder, we use double entry and the general journal to correct errors. If you are not overly comfortable with double entry or you feel a bit rusty with the general journal, I strongly suggest you go to the link in the description to the playlist for this topic and take a look at videos number 1 and 2 to get the ball rolling in terms of your double entry knowledge. It'll make this whole process a whole lot more pleasant, right? But if you feel you're ready and you're comfortable with double entry, let's take a look at these errors today. So the first type of error is called a compensating error. So a compensating error, as you can see here, is an error, right, where multiple errors occur that cancel or balance each other out. Let's take a look here. So it says example 6a, the purchases account is overstated by $100 while the sales account is also overstated by 100. So both accounts here are overstated. Now what does overstated mean? It means that the balance or the amount in the account is too high. How do we fix that? We have to reduce it. How do we reduce a balance in an account? Well, it depends on what account it is, right? Let's take a look at each of, now, let's just remember, we're dealing with purchases and sales. So if we go up to the double entry rules, purchases is an expense. Expenses are debited to be increased, and credited when you want to decrease the amount in the expense account. Now, the balance in the expense account is on the same side as when you enter increases. Actually, that's a rule for all accounts. All accounts will generally have a balance on the side where you record increases to that account. So it means the debit balance in this account, the expense account, is too high. How do we counterbalance that? We have to go on the opposite side, the credit side, to record a decrease, which will bring the balance down. So we will do that to the what? Purchases account, right? Nice. What about the revenue account? Well, sales is a revenue account. And revenue accounts, if you notice here, have the opposite rules to expenses. We increase with credits and we decrease with debits. So once again, the balance in this account is supposed to be on the same side as we record increases to the account. So the credit balance in the revenue account of sales is too high. How do we fix that? How do we bring it down? We have to go on the debit side and enter a counterbalancing entry. So it looks like we're going to debit sales to bring down the revenue account and credit purchases to bring down the expense account. So let's go back down to the general journal. So the debit will go to sales. Sorry, I just have to, right, okay. Right, we're going to debit sales for 100, and we are going to credit purchases also for 100, and the narration will be to correct overstatement of both sales and purchases by 100 each. All right, so once again, with the general journal, your debit entries come first and your credit entries come after, and they are also indented relative to the debit. Okay, so we just saw what happens when both accounts are overstated. Now, they happen to be opposite types. When I say like revenues versus expenses, they're kind of opposites. One is earning revenue, one is incurring expenses. Now, let's scroll down a little bit, and we're going to take a look at example 6b. Now this is where the machinery account is understated by $500, and the creditors account is also understated by $500. Okay, so machinery is an asset and creditors is a liability. Let's go back up to the rules. So by now we should know our asset rules. Assets are debit to increase, credit to decrease, whereas with liabilities we follow the opposite rules: credit to increase and debit to decrease. So how are we going to fix this? So remember, in this case, both machinery and creditors were understated. So machinery is an asset. Assets have debit balances. If the debit balance is too low, that's what understated means. What do we have to do to fix that? We have to put more on the debit side. So we're going to debit machinery. Similarly, with the creditors being understated, creditors is a liability. Liabilities have credit balances. How do we increase a credit balance? Why do we want to increase it? Because it is understated. How do we increase a credit balance? By putting more on the credit side. So we're going to credit creditors. Let's go down to the general journal to see how this looks. So once again, we're going to debit machinery. Because machinery was an asset, it was understated. We need to increase it, so we're going to debit machinery. Similarly, with creditors, we're going to credit creditors because it's a liability. It was understated, therefore we needed to increase the balance in the account, which requires a credit to the creditors account, to the liability account. Right, so to correct understatement of both machinery and creditors for 500. Sorry, 500. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to try a couple of questions. We're going to see practice questions 6A and 6B. So take a pause, take a try, and let's correct afterwards. Okay, how did that go? Wasn't so bad, right? So let's take a read. So the sales account is understated by 400 and rent is also understated by 400. So sales and rent understated. Let's go up to the double entry rules. Sales is a revenue account. Revenue accounts have credit balances. If it's understated, it's too low. What do we need to do to fix that? We need to credit sales. And similarly, with rent, rent is an expense. Expenses have debit balances. If it's too low, how do we fix that? We have to debit rent. So we're going to debit rent and credit sales. So let's take a look. So in the first case, we're going to debit rent expense for 400. And we're going to credit sales for 400, and this is to correct a compensating error. Let's be a bit more specific, right? To correct understated balances in rent and sales, 400. Right? Like I say, you can put a bit more detail. It doesn't have to be an entire paragraph or an essay. Keep it simple. What about the second practice question? What do you guys do? So creditors and debtors accounts both overstated by 700. Okay, so let's analyze. Creditors is a liability, debtors is an asset, and they're both overstated. That means their balances are too high. Let's go up to the double entry rules. So assets have debit balances. If it's too high, we have to decrease the debit balance. To decrease the debit balance on an account, we have to credit the account. So we're going to be crediting debtors. Now, creditors is an asset. It has a credit balance. It is also overstated, just like debtors was. When something is overstated, that means it's too high. How do we fix that? We have to decrease the balance in the account. How do we decrease our credit balance? We have to go on the opposite side. We have to debit the account. So we're going to debit creditors and credit debtors. Let's go down to the question. Let's do one thing at a time here. Right, so we're going to debit creditors for 700, and we're going to credit debtors for the same 700. What did I have here? Let's see. To correct compensate. All right, so to correct where both creditors and debtors were overstated. Sorry, overstated by 700. Oops, I forgot a zero. Nice. Okay, so like I said, keep it short, keep it simple. Okay, so again, as you go through, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, so let me just rearrange some stuff so we'll take a look at the next step for today. Okay, so let's take a look at this type of error, which is called a complete reversal of entries. And yes, as the name implies, it means the debit and credit were mixed up. So let's take a read of the example. So it says, a credit sale to QT Pi for 500 was entered in his account as a credit and debited to sales. Let's go over that again. So a credit sale to QT Pi for 500. So let's go across to the T accounts because we need to see this in order to understand it properly. So it says a credit sale to QT Pi. So if you know your double entry, when you make a credit sale, you debit the debtor and you credit sales. So what was supposed to happen? We were supposed to debit QT Pi for 500 sales, right? And then we were supposed to debit here, right? Debtor, right? T dot pi, right? 500. So that's what was supposed to have happened. But guess what? Let's go back to the question and see what it said. It said it was entered in his account as a credit and debited to sales. So it means that these didn't happen. It was entered in his account as a credit. So it means that we went here and we put 500 and it was debited to sales. So debtor Q.T.pi POA 500. So this is definitely not what was supposed to have happened. So how do we fix this? So let's think about it. So the first thing, remember, always undo the wrong and then do the right thing. So right now, up in QT-Pi's account, we have a credit that shouldn't be there. How do we get rid of it? We have to go on the debit side. So we're going to go here, 500, we're going to put sales. Similarly, down in the sales account, we have a debit that shouldn't be there. How do we get rid of that? We have to credit. Whoop, QT per 500. Nice. So now we've undone the wrong. We're not done because this debit cancels the incorrect credit, as does this credit cancel this incorrect debit. But remember, that's just half of what we had to do. We undid the wrong. We still have to do the right thing. How do we do that? Well, what was supposed to have happened in the first place? We were supposed to have debited QT-Pi and credited sales. Now you might be saying, but Chris, look, we just did that. We just did a debit there and a credit here. But that was to undo the wrong. We still haven't put in the correct entry just yet. If we stopped here, it would almost be like an error of omission. We would have canceled the incorrect entries, but the correct entries would not yet have been made. So let's make them. So we're supposed to go here and put another debit for 500 and go here and put another credit for 500. So in all, if you look at it, we debited debtor QT-Pi twice for 500, which is equivalent to debiting QT-Pi for 1,000 for double the amount of the error. Once to cancel the incorrect entry and once to enter the correct amount on the correct side. Similarly, in the sales account, we have an incorrect debit for 500. So we credited for 1,000. Why 1,000? Because one credit to eliminate the incorrect debit and another credit to put in the credit entry as it should have been put in. So when we go to our general journal now, we are going to see a debit to QT-Pi for 1,000 and we're going to see a credit to sales for 1,000. And this is simply to correct a complete reversal, an error of complete reversal or a complete reversal of entries. So once again, this one is one that catches a lot of people because they forget to double the amount. Why are we doubling? We need one of those to eliminate the error and the second one to put in the correct entry on the correct side. So with that in mind, let's scroll down and I'm going to give you all a couple to try. Right, so take a read of the questions and then let's correct in a couple of seconds. Okay, how was that? Wasn't so bad, right? So let's take a read now. So it says in 7A, the entries for a credit purchase of 600 from a creditor were reversed. Okay, so a credit purchase requires a debit to purchases and a credit to creditor. Let's go across to the T account and see what happened. So we were supposed to debit purchases and credit the creditor, but the entries were reversed. The question told us that. So we would have debited creditor for 600 and we would have credited purchases for the same 600. Now once again, how do we fix this? Well, we need to debit the account that should have been debited and credit the account that should have been credited for double the amount. Why double? Once to eliminate the error and once to enter the amount that should have been entered on the correct side. So we're going to go here, we're going to put, creditor, right? 1,200, right? Remember, double the amount. You can put two separate debits if you want, but it will be equivalent to one entry. All right, and here we're going to put purchases, 1,200. Nice. So when we come down to the general journal now, back on this side, we're going to see the debit to purchases for 1,200 and the credit to creditor for 1,200, and that is to correct an error, a complete reversal of entries. Let's take a look at the second error. So in this one, we have a payment to a creditor of 300 by check that was debited to bank and credited to creditor. So a payment to a creditor is supposed to be debited because, let's go up the double entry rules. A creditor is a liability. If you owe somebody money, that's a liability. If you pay them back, what happens to the amount of money you owe them? It decreases. So you would be decreasing your liability, which would require a debit, right? Similarly, money came from bank. Bank is an asset. If you're paying money out of bank, bank is decreasing. To record a decrease in an asset, you have to credit the asset. So we were supposed to have debited creditor and credited bank. Let's go back down to the question and take a look and see what happened. So it says a payment to a creditor was debited to bank and credited to creditor. So we debited bank. How much was it? 300. And we credited creditor. 300. Whoops, sorry. Bank. So how do we fix this? Well, once again, we go on the correct side of the accounts and we enter double the amount. So we're going to go here, we're going to put bank, we're going to put 600. Why double the amount? Once to undo the incorrect entry, and the second time to do the correct entry. We're going to come to the bank, we're going to put 600, and we're going to put creditor. Now let's go across to the general journal, and we're going to see the debit to bank for 600 and the credit to the debit to creditor and the credit to bank. Woohoo! Again, tired boy. Had to be. And to correct a complete reversal of entries. Okay. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. If you want to see other videos, be sure to click on those boxes across there. Don't forget to subscribe, and again, it's over my face, all right? And also don't forget to go to my website to download your handout. I'm going to put a button somewhere in the middle of the screen. Thanks for watching guys. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.